Trigard come off the bench, he still was able to get those 5 points. But he's not the leading scorer. Lucas Walker and Ron Dorsey for the Melbourne Tigers both have 6. And the Adelaide 36ers, BJ, Daniel Johnson with 6.
Rush off the mark, and Stephen Way reels it in. Good crowd here at the cage for a team that has dropped as many games as the Tigers have in the last month. Mitch Creek goes baseline, finds Steve Way. Lewis stays on his feet on the pump fake. Way with a good move to the basket, but bursting pulls in the board. Tigers get the stop. Trigard wants it down low against Johnson. Tough shot over the top of a good hand shown by Daniel Johnson, and Cam Trigard looks like he's being aggressive.
He is, and coming off the bench, I'm sure that would have put a little fire in his belly as well. I mean, he's a great team player and accepts his role, and externally wouldn't have a problem with it. Rest assured, internally, no player, particularly one that's leading the league in scoring, would enjoy coming off the bench like Cam Trigard. He'd be looking at it and saying, well, hang on, am I being the scapegoat here? What is going on? Because, honestly, I'm getting the job done. As far as points are concerned, there you see the foul.
Soft.
But he's come out and been very aggressive, as you mentioned, 3 or 4 from the field.
Daniel Johnson is a tough cover. He's got 7 already. I know he's only 2 for 6 from the field, but he is active. And
throughout his career, one thing he has never been accused of, and that is being bashful when it comes to getting some shots up. Even when he was a rookie, just limited time off the bench, he was always one of those players capable of finding a shot for himself. And right now he deserves them because he's playing some very good basketball. Good aggressive drive that time by Benny Lou. There he is going
just
almost there.
Just inside the paint where he took off. Let me ask you a question now. Benny Lewis, he's been, what's this, his 3rd year playing for the Melbourne Tigers. He's a young guy, but, you know, at some point, he got to turn the corner. You know, they've got to ask some questions like that with the Melbourne Tigers. Is this the 2nd disappointing season in a row? They're going to have to make some tough judgment calls.
I think it's a little harsh to call this season disappointing. I don't think he's really made the progress, but, Stevie, his opportunities have been erratic. He gets to play a little bit here, then he'll go a few weeks where he doesn't play. He's been a bits and pieces player. And certainly with the work that he does in the off-season, played last season in the ABA competition. It's not called that anymore, but you know what I mean.
Helliwell skips it to Stephen Way. He shot it quickly. He had some more time. He had about 4 to 5 seconds on the shot clock.
Stephen Way running with the bid. And I guess had a brief chat to him before the start of the game, and there's a holding foul off the ball on Dan Johnson. But Steve Way just wanting to mix things up. When you're a shooter and you're not shooting well, and you've got picture-perfect technique like he has, sometimes it can be those psychological demons. And I think Stephen Way just thought, you know what, I'm going to sport the beard to see if that can give me a little bit more luck with my a little bit more luck with my jump shot. But he's a fine shooter.
Ball out of bounds again. Oh, my point about Benny Lewis wasn't so much that he's having a disappointing year. The Tigers with another disappointing year.
Right.
And if they start to make player personnel changes, he would be a nice pickup for a couple of teams around the league.
Absolutely. As we mentioned last night with the Wollongong Hawks, the Melbourne Tigers are going to be faced with some tough decisions at the end of the season and what direction they're going to go with their personnel.
Sometimes a player just needs a change of scenery. I mean, we've seen what it's done for Jacob Holmes.
Oh, that is just...
I mean, he must like the hot, humid air up there because he is hooping this year.
One of the great stories we've had in the NBL over the last couple of years, and good to see they've taken care of business and locked him away for a season or 2. So he's found a home there at Townsville. And you're right, a lot of it's just about opportunity. And no greater example than we've seen of that on the international stage recently we had with Jeremy Lin in the NBA. Getting the right place at the right time. The Doctors come on the court. Darren Ning
Warren turns the corner. Extra pass goes to Daniel Johnson. He's got his feet set, can't come up with the three-pointer. Boy, they look for Daniel Johnson. He gets that extra pass to him often. He's not a reluctant three-point shooter.
And he has that good ability to get into places where he's open. And it's a little easier for the big guys because he's got Matty Burston on him. Now, he doesn't want to be out there chasing guys around the three-point line, so he is going to get open.
Darren Ing off the mark. We saw him get white hot against Townsville. And their win over them in Adelaide a couple of weeks ago, which sparked Paul Woolford to just go off on his team. Liam Rush looking for a pass inside the paint, wasn't able to get it. Burston up top.
Tell you what, since Lucas Walker has checked out of the game, the Tigers have just lost their spark on the offensive end. What he was doing, the work he was doing on the glass. And you do notice just a slight change in the tempo of the game when he's been sitting on the bench so far.
Daniel Johnson once again starting to accumulate those numbers as he does. He's got 9.
And that's really got to be his bread and butter. Sure, he can knock down the shot and put it to the floor, but his bread and butter, when he needs to get a point, needs to be down low. There's an off-the-ball foul. This time it's on Benny Lewis. The little flex cut, the baseline cut. Benny Lewis had the pick and called for a moving screen. And just as we're talking about Lucas Walker, Trevor Gleason's ears must have been burning because he's back into the game along with Ron Dorsey.
And sometimes that's what it comes down to. So we look a little flat. Something's wrong. When you look down the bench, oh, that's why. He was giving us a hell of a spark. As Warren did last time they played here. Johnson up at the three-point line. Off-balance shot, gets nothing but backboard. Liam Rush brings it up. Dillon, nice pass to Cam Tregar.
Great pass, but good reward for running the floor. Terrific effort by Cameron Tregar to sprint down and get to that low position and just out-hustle and out-wanted it compared to Wade Halliwell and Daniel Johnson in the defensive trans.
Warren with the step back. Tough shot. And he's able to hit it over the top of Daniel Dillon. Can't play any better D than that without fouling the three-point shooter. Tregar against Halliwell. Liam Rush is fouled by Stephen Way, trying to get over the top of the dribble handoff.
Stop.
Myron Allen coming back into the game as well. And timeout.
We got a timeout. We got a timeout.
Timeout on the floor. The Melbourne Tigers still hanging on to that narrow lead. 32-29 with 5:42 to go until halftime.
Things to do before summer ends. Go to the beach. Go for a surf. Build a sand. I have no idea what that is. Go to Hungry Jack's. Play cricket. Watch cricket. Listen to cricket. Take your dog to the park. Go to an outdoor concert. Go to Hungry Jack's. Climb a tree. Fall in love. Ride a horse to Hungry Jack's. Come into Hungry Jack's for a summer value meal and get a Whopper Junior, small fries and small frozen Coke for just $3.95. Available all day, every day. Hungry Jack's makes it better.
Trevor Gleason talking to his troops there. Defensively,
Give it up, ladies and
it
gentlemen.
is.
No electricity.
Well, it's been sporadic, but it is a lot better than their effort last week against the Cairns Taipans.
It is, and a good way to look at it when you're a coach is you often look at the field goal percentages that the team's shooting against you. And tonight, the Adelaide 36ers, they've dropped all the way down now to 39%. So that would be pleasing. And I think you've got to give a lot of credit for the Melbourne Tigers tonight. You can clearly see their effort and their body language and the way they're going about it on the defensive end is vastly different to what it was last Saturday night.
Dillon on the sideline out of bounds. Tigers Looking sharp. Daniel Dillon gets another one to slide in outside the three-point line. Lead has jumped up to 6 on the three-pointer by Daniel Dillon.
Hey, Dillon.
Darren Ing from the wing.
Chance for a 4-point play.
Wait, you talk about urgency of getting to somebody outside the three-point line.
Steve, there's not a player, I think, in the league who, when he's open, like he wasn't open here. He's got a bigger guy on him and gets the quick release. But when he is open, he is automatic.
Yeah.
I don't know of anyone in the league where you're surprised more when a guy is open and shoots and misses than you are when Darren Ing's got the ball.
He is clearly the purest shooter in the league.
And you got to make, with a guy like him, you got to make him put the floor, because his percentages do go down a little bit when he's got to go off the dribble. But it's just a straight up shooter. And Darren Ing, I caught up with him as well, and he's got some outstanding news that his beautiful wife is going to give birth to a baby in July 15th. It's due. He's going to have a baby boy, so congratulations to the Ing family. Terrific work. I wonder if he's just going to take the tools and actually, as a fully qualified doctor, just make sure the real doc, is supervised.
Now he's getting
going to work.
Shoots the three-point shot, gets the hard closeout, and gets to the rim. And you know one thing that baby will be blessed with? A lot of talent.
And IQ.
Be a concert pianist, a doctor, a basketball player, you name it. It's going to be blessed with a lot of opportunities.
Mum's got a PhD as well, so I think IQ is going to be in the DNA.
Ing with the ball looking for a teammate. Somehow he finds Warren.
Ooh. Good move.
Step back. It was straight.
Steve, that's just smart move. He knew he had Myron Allen off balance, and when you're a little fella like Warren is, you get accustomed to that, getting the defender off his feet. There he is, a little step back, shot fake, and just jump into him, and there you see an easiest call the referee will have to make tonight. And Myron Allen, he knows the mistake he made. Stay on the floor, carry a hand, make him shoot the three over the top of the extended arm. That would have been the objective defensively.
That would have been.
When you lose your feet, very rarely do good things happen.
You know, and that's a real skill, too, because you can really be embarrassed. You can be embarrassed by playing for that. You get the contact, and the referee deems that you jumped into the defense, and you just throw up an air ball that misses by 10 feet. And you've got to be good at it. We always saw Anatoly Bose do that unsuccessfully a couple of times when we were covering Kings games, and it is a lonely feeling.
That's true, and sometimes you start playing for it, and those little touchy ones you don't get the call, and you know, that one there was an easy one to make, and it's full credit. It's the work that's done before that, the step back, the fake, all those things, just terrific moves to get the defender off the floor. The Melbourne Tigers just want to pay attention of what's going on here now, both offensively and defensively. The Adelaide 36 is getting right back into this game. Scores are tied up. And one of the statistical quirks for the Melbourne Tigers is that Melbourne is second last in free throw percentage, and the Adelaide 36ers are last. But also, the Adelaide 36ers, you wonder why you've got a guy like Myron Allen flying around like Tweety Bird on a head fake, is that the second best in the league in three-point field goals made. So they are a very good three-point shooting team.
You know, I know you're not supposed to foul a three-point shooter, but if you foul a three-point shooter that shoots a low percentage, yes. But Chris Warren, he really hurt the Melbourne Tigers. Scored, I believe, 31 points the last time he was here. He was on fire. Between him, Darren Ing, and you don't want Daniel Johnson to get a good look at the three-point line. And Stephen Way trying to shoot himself into a hot streak with that beard. As Tommy Greer turns the corner and kisses one off the window, and we're all tied up at 37.
I think also structurally what the Melbourne Tigers are doing, they're last in the league in getting to the free throw line, so they don't get there all that often, and when they do get there, they shoot it poorly. But Trevor Gleeson would like to see them getting there a little bit more often. And there was a chance for a steal down low. Daniel Johnson did good position. The pass was just a little wayward.
Allen brings it up against Warren. 3:30 to go here in the second. Greer wide open. Hits a jump. I like it when he shoots a jump shot. When he shoots that set shot outside the three-point line, it looks a lot smoother when he gets his legs into it, as does that man right there. And that's why you lunge at him at the three-point line. Chris Warren with the three-point basket.
He loves playing here, Steve. He had 30-plus the last time in the loss a couple of weeks ago. He's already up to 13 points. And he's 4 of 5 from the field, 3 of 4 from the three-point line.
Yeah, that'll get you some points in a hurry.
He's also got the 3 assists, so he's putting together some sort of game as well.
How's our triple-double watch going?
It's just slowed down a little bit. He's still got the 3 rebounds and 5 assists. And only got the 4 points.
Trigal on a dish from Myron Allen. Cam Trigal looks like he's got his mojo back on the offensive end of the floor. Johnson puts it on the floor. Will he go the line for 2?
On the floor, that one. Lucas Walker just tried to defend with the hip rather than his feet. Rather than moving his feet and getting those across to cut off the drive, just stuck the hip out and gets called for the blocking foul. The good thing about Myron Allen, Steve, that I like is that he's only had the 3 field goal attempts, so it's not like he's out there and he's overly concerned about his own numbers and just trying to play for himself. He's seems like he's got a real good head on his shoulders.
Landed, and then you went into him. He was legal. He was still in the air.
I thought that was called on the ground.
Well, it's a team foul situation, though, Steve. They're just in the bonus. So it was indicated by the official that it was on the floor, but just fifth.
That's why you're here, my brother. Because you don't miss a trick.
I miss plenty of them, Steve. Plenty.
Tigers trailing by 1. Those Daniel Johnson free throws. Warren with the steal. He goes upstairs and lays it up. Now, considering how small he is, he was up pretty high on that one. Got some very explosive ups.
People who saw the rookie All-Star game today would have seen one of the greatest in-game dunks. Admittedly, it was in Showtime by John Wall, behind the back while he's in the air and flushed it with one hand. Just spectacular stuff.
Trigal with some good footwork comes up short. Offensive board is gloved by Wade Helliwell, but it stays with the Tigers.
Just quickly, Steve, talking about the NBA and their All-Star weekend in the celebrity game, former NBL player Arnie Duncan was voted one of the MVPs in the All-Star game, the celebrity All-Star game. He played with the Nuttawading Spectres.
Great hustle by Ing. Adelaide with numbers. Johnson will go to the foul line once again. Good hustle by the 36ers coming up with that one. You know, sometimes you get ones that you shouldn't have gotten, and Darren Ing hit the floor, and that was one of those situations. Timeout on the floor.
I like it, Steve. I like the body language, the way the Adelaide 36ers are coming together, the camaraderie. This doesn't look like a team that's fighting to not win the wooden spoon.
Yeah, it sure doesn't.
Some real good signs there for Marty Clark.
We've seen the Wollongong Hawks dismantle the New Zealand Breakers. These teams on the bottom of the ladder or towards the bottom of the ladder are playing with some pride. Last night, Wollongong gave the Gold Coast Blaze everything they had.
Very, very little difference between the top teams and the bottom teams on any given night. Now, we know that the New Zealand Breakers and the Perth Wildcats, they seem to have a bit of a margin on the rest. But on any given night, and we've seen that this year already with the Adelaide 36ers going into Perth and getting a couple of wins. So they can compete. It's just the consistency and getting all the pieces of the puzzle and depth. But, Steve, getting back to the Arnie Duncan story, and played with the Nuttawading Spectres under Brian Goorjian, and has gone on to be the Secretary of Education for Barack Obama's administration team over there. So he went to Harvard and came out here and had a very, very solid career. almost made the Boston Celtics roster when he was this in the late 80s. But good to see someone that's just got a little bit of Australia in such an influential position and doing some good things.
That's right. Well, when he left the NBL, he went to Tasmania, and he was a school teacher there. And spent a couple of years there with his wife, moved back to his native Chicago, and there he was on his path to the White House. Great story.
Brian Goorjian was his coach, and as I read today from a tweet from Bodinage, the journo for the Adelaide 36ers, that Brian Goorjian having significant influence. He also spent some time with Jeremy Lin last year. So between Arnie Duncan and Jeremy Lin, Brian Goorjian, it seems like he's producing some talent on All-Star Weekend.
And check out Bodinage giving Brian Goorjian some reps. As Ron Dorsey comes up blank. Lucas Walker, just too much to handle for Darren Ing on the box out. Darren Ing got between him and the ball. And still just the size and the strength of Lucas Walker.
It is, and that's really his game. He needs to attack the glass, play with that passion and that enthusiasm. That can be infectious, and I'm sure that's one of the reasons why he was injected into the starting lineup, beyond just what he's doing statistically, but bringing that enthusiasm and tempo to the game.
Dorsey, the baseline out of bounds, shot a tough one. Wasn't able to get it to go. 36ers inching towards that 50% mark. And holding a 5-point lead on the Tigers. Warren's got a mismatch from the perimeter to Johnson, who's leaked out to the three-point line. You've got to send somebody out there to get him. That makes the lead all the way up to 8, 49-41.
16 points now for Daniel Johnson.
Bartlett gets a piece of it. Adelaide have scored the last 9. Got less than a minute to go here in the second. Dillon's off the mark. That'll be off the leg of Daniel Johnson.
I tell you what, the way Daniel Johnson's going, I think he's a long shot to make the Australian Olympic team in London, but he certainly going to be in the mix. The form he's had this season, he checks out of the game with 37 seconds remaining. He's already got those he's got 2 fouls, so perhaps just trying to give him a little extended rest and trying to avoid picking up another foul. But with his versatility, maybe not London, but you would think in the future Daniel Johnson's going to play a part with the green and gold. And there's another example of a player leaving his feet. And Ron Dorsey just leans forward enough to get the foul and the collision with Everett Bartlett.
Seen a few of those already in this game. I guess if you get caught on one.
Just that little head fake there. Now that's what, remember, Marty Clark was talking about. He wants them running at the player to stay on your feet and just take the odds to him. As long as they're shooting over a hand, he's happy with that. And that time, Bartlett wasn't able to stay on his feet.
So Ron Dorsey, after the break, will come and have 3 shots on the line. And as Adelaide ran off 9 straight points, and you've got to think that 3 of those will be gotten back by the Melbourne Tigers' Ron Dorsey as he goes to the line.
He might have just snuck a foot inside, but Steve, we've been talking about these teams, and as we mentioned, both of them are not going to be featuring in playoff action, but the Adelaide 36ers, they've had a couple of disappointing seasons in the win-loss column, but there's just something about the group that they're putting together when you see Everett Bartlett and you've got Mitch Creek and also, of course, Daniel Johnson, who's going to be a superstar. There's a lot to like about what they're doing, and Marty Clark's role in that. He's got a year to run, but it's going to be a pretty important year next year for Marty Clark.
It's a tough one. I mean, you've got some good pieces to the puzzle there. We were talking before the game about you want a good rebounder. You want, a guy that's
which they have in Diamond Simpson. He's solid around the basket.
Yeah, and that's when they beat the Melbourne Tigers. When they played very well against the Melbourne Tigers last time in this building, Adelaide felt like they outplayed the Tigers, and one thing they did was they out-rebounded Melbourne. A lot of teams have out-rebounded Melbourne, but 36ers can be a good rebounding team. They can also put points on the board. They show signs of being a very good team.
Well, right now, the Melbourne Tigers, just a few minutes ago, we're talking about the Adelaide 36ers down to 39%. They're all the way up to 50%. And a lot of that's come off the turnovers. The Melbourne Tigers coughing it up already 8 times in this game. And I'm sure Trevor Gleeson at halftime is going to talk about the defense. And there's a little travel that Trevor Gleeson thought was going to go unwhistled, but he gets it, albeit a little late. But Steve, I actually think that Trevor's going to focus on the defensive end, I'm sure, but offensively, Tigers just been a little erratic.
Yeah.
Now, it's hard to say that when they too are also shooting at 50%, but just very terminal, and it looks a lot harder work for the Melbourne Tigers on the offensive end than it does for the Adelaide 36ers, certainly in this quarter anyway.
Let's go, guys. Good shot.
Trying to figure out who that foul was on. Was it on Stephen Way? Where it just looked like as Myron Allen was coming up, he was being held by Nathan Herbert.
Lucas Walker, after an explosive start, just tape it off a little bit. Only a 65% free throw shooter on the season, so solid without being spectacular from the free throw line.
There's the extended pressure by the Tigers. They've gotten Adelaide to cough up the ball and a turnover. Very costly considering they wanted to get the last shot of the second quarter. Allen with Warren all over him. Dorsey with a tough shot at the three-point line. He drills it. And just like that, it's a one-point game. And that'll be it.